through that one. Ah, there goes my flamethrower. We cannot do this. I was trying not to blast open the other crate because that second crate has the flamethrower, but if you do not have... if we destroy that and the power crate, we wind up getting both of those power-ups the moment we get access to the Jeep. So we're going to have to redo this again, unfortunately. That was a pretty darn good run, though. But yeah, that happens too, unfortunately. Oh, man. That kind of stunk. Alright, so let's go again. Go through options just to reveal we are doing this in arcade mode. In 3, 2, 1, go. Anyway, this is Mercs. This is released for the Sega Genesis and Master System around 1991. Of course, the arcade game came out around the year before that, and this is the official sequel of Commando from 1985. Anyway, you do take control of mercenaries from the Mercs, and their mission is to carry out a Black Ops mission to rescue the former president of the United States from a terrorist organization from a fictional South African country. So most of the bosses in this game are pretty much military vehicles, and as you can see here, we destroyed the Harrier jet pretty quickly here. Mission 1's pretty easy to do, but it's going to get harder as we progress. So our ultimate goal is to try to finish each of these missions without any mega crashes, so we can get the score countdown done more faster. We are going to pick up whatever POWs we can pick up, so one thing to keep in mind is even if you don't pick up the POWs or Vitality upgrades, we will get them when we get a continue. So that's very important to know. Whew, that was close. Now, we're safe as long as we don't, as long as we're underneath the tank nozzle, we should avoid most of the missiles. Unfortunately, we didn't get very lucky there. Now, believe it or not, I'm more of a Nintendo player rather than a Sega player, but I can't pass up Mercs. So anyway, we're going into the second boss, which is the tank division as shown. And thanks to the fact we had 4 Mega Crashes, we were able to destroy this boss pretty quickly. At least we got that done before the 2-minute mark, so we're going to go straight into Mission 3. Hopefully we will not take a death there, like we did on the original run. Alright, so we're on the Harrier craft, and we're going to ignore these mini-tanks right here and make our way past through them. Now, it's very hard to not get shot in that area, but we're going to go on ahead anyway. Anyway, now that we got past this part, we can go after all these enemies here. Of course, one of the big differences between the difficulties is the fact that you do have to fight more enemies in normal and hard difficulty, as opposed to easy. Easy is probably the most easy, since you don't have to worry so much about having to deal with the enemies. But of course, the fastest time, as far as I know on the leaderboards on speedruns.com, is basically 10:06 or somewhere around that range. At least for the normal difficulty. So we're going to make our way up here, because that'll trigger the boss fight. Now we do have plenty of Mega Crashes this time around, but we're going to burn them all the moment we get started, get near the end of the fight. And voila, we got through that fight. Not bad. Technically, one of the big advantages about using the Mega Crashes is the fact that you do get invulnerability frames for a few seconds. So it's very important to take full advantage of that and make more use of the invincibility from that. Of course, it's not very long, but it does allow you to set up some things you would not normally do in normal circumstances. Ouch. A lot more enemies in the bog this time around. Now, of course, we do have to be on the lookout for the frogmen, because their places are pretty random in each playthrough. And their knife damage is pretty hard. Now, of course, the character we're playing as is Joseph Gibson. Of course, he's pretty much well known by his original name, alias of Super Joe. Now, if you played Bionic Commando, you'll pretty much remember the name of Super Joe. And way before Capcom became really famous, Super Joe was really used in a lot of their games. A lot of their earlier games, such as Speed Rumble and, of course, the original Bionic Commando, among other things. Of course, Commando was pretty much his beginning game, of course. So anyway, we're on our way to the gunboat battle. Alright, we got all the bombs detonated before the mission was done. So that completes the gunboat. So basically we want to destroy the gunboat and start using our Mega Crashes to avoid the flamethrower whenever it gets fired at us. Alright, so we're going into the city next, and hopefully we can get through this without screwing it up this time. Anyway, making our way through this area, we're going to pick up these power-ups and then detonate a Mega Crash before he fires the missile. This will give us a few seconds of vulnerability before he can fire another round. Of course, our tank is pretty OP. It's probably one of our strongest vehicles we get access to, unfortunately. Wow, I'm surprised I made it through that without, Alright, good. We managed to get that without, triggering the, breaking the crate with the flamethrower. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to advance through here until we destroy this, tank. And it will not let us move until we destroy it too. So, unlike the arcade version where you can just flat out ignore it, you cannot do that in the Genesis version, as far as I know. I could be wrong, of course, but then again, I've always been wrong. But then again, from personal experience, I always know I had to destroy the tank before we were allowed to move. Now, we do have to be careful with the missiles because we don't want those raining on our heads. And now we get to take on the supply train. We do not get to battle it right off the gate. We have to destroy these turrets, and then we gotta destroy the smaller turrets next after that. So right now we got past that one pretty easily. So anyway, it's moving through the tracks. So we can't destroy the other turrets again, but it's gonna come around anyway. Wow, that's a first. I've never seen them open fire just before over here. So anyway, we gotta destroy the engine next. And we can't target that one just yet, unfortunately. We can open fire on it, but we can't harm it, whatever. Whew, that was close. Now, the Japanese version of this game, you are not invincible to the missiles after you defeat this train, so you do have to watch out for that if you're playing the arcade version of this game, by the way, not the Genesis version, mind you. Alright, so we got past that boss, and we're now on our way to the pre-ultimate stage, which is the enemy HQ. So we got 2 tanks coming up, and that's not going to be easy. We're going to try to lure these guys from opening fire on us. Fortunately, we weren't very lucky to get away from getting hit by the missiles, but we did, however, maintain a good chunk of our health. So we're now going on to the left, so we gotta destroy these flamethrowers once we get in range. We do have to destroy them before they do open fire. Of course, the arcade version, they're a lot larger than what you see here on the Genesis version. Now, normally if we were playing the arcade version, we would take an intentional death on the second lift coming down at us. But for me, we do not have to do that, or anywhere else in general. Now, we do have to be careful, though, because the enemies coming up are going to be already spawning, and they're going to try to throw the grenades at us. So we're going to try to lure them away from our current position so we can make sure we don't get hit. We're going to pick up these last power-ups. need to pick them up anymore. Now, it is possible to run through the electric fields without taking any damage if you time the detonation of your Mega Crashes correctly, but since I'm not very good at it, I don't do that. Manicore 5, who has the world record for the arcade version, has managed to do that flawlessly. I recommend checking him out. Probably. Now, if I take a death coming up, I'm going to take a deliberate death so we can get our Mega Crashes refilled for the next fight. I gotta say, it's a miracle I managed to get through this without taking a death up until this point. So we don't need to destroy all the missiles. All we have to do is just get up here, and we're just gonna dance our way through the missile fire. So the missiles will always come down during your during the point where your character is about ready to face off against 5 of the firings of the missiles. So we managed to detonate all of our remaining Mega Crashes on that point, getting our maximum damage output. So anyway, we got through Mission 6 pretty good. So we're coming up to the final area of the game, which is basically the Hercules flight transport. And the terrorist leader is trying to make a break for it with the president on board. So our goal is to pretty much destroy the propellers of the ship so they cannot escape. And time's going to be once screen stops. Time. 10:58 on normal, not bad. Of course, it's going to be a long while before I can get go to the ridiculous times for normal for speedruns.com, but that's fine. I'm not aiming for world records or anything, just like new runs to get into. Not bad for a normal run, actually, all things considering. All right, so